Welcome to Insight Builder channel, large language model automators, Python experts, and my dear friends. Unlocking AI powerhouse. How Vertex AI and Langchain integrate and revolutionize machine learning. This is what we are going to take a look. You might be wondering, okay, what is Vertex AI? Why Langchain needs to be integrated with Vertex AI? If you are from that kind of a background, then I would suggest that take a look at this particular playlist, this particular channel that has been created by me, where I discuss about the Vertex AI unleashing creativity, that is without Langchain. So this particular introduction is purely with Vertex AI service that has been created by Google Cloud Platform and that has been provided for integrating with the large language model. That is one of the videos that you can watch. And if you're new to Langchain, if you have never come across Langchain before this particular video, then I would suggest that take a look at the playlists where I discuss about the Langchain specifically. So I'll be sharing the link of these playlists along with this video also. In the side, you can get the details. With that said, let us go back to the PDF. The intention of this particular discussion is to bring the Vertex AI large language models to the Langchain execution environment. So why this is very important? Once you bring the large language model API integrated with Langchain, we can integrate that large language model with various other Langchain primitives like LLMchain, SQL agents, DataFrame agents, retrieval chains, and all these chains have different solutions. These are all code that has been already written by Langchain developers, and it helps us to speed up a lot of developments with large language models. What we are going to do in this particular video is I'll be introducing how to get the access to the security account and then connect with Vertex AI API. I will be showing you the setup, and then I will show you how simple, once you get the security account setup, then Vertex AI LLM instance creation is just a breeze. It's not much of a hassle, but you need to set up the security account correct. Once those two are done, then we will enter into these primitives, that additional primitives that I am talking about, and see how they are getting integrated with the large language model that is provided by Google. So if you guys are totally new to all these things, I would also suggest that take a look at Google Cloud Platform to understand what kind of services they offer. So these are all the basic things you might have to come up to speed. I believe you will like this content. Do leave a like and share it with others. This technology is slowly maturing right now. So a lot of new players are entering into large language model industry, and new kinds of tasks are getting automated by this artificial intelligence related models. And apart from this, I also discuss about a lot of other related libraries in Python. In fact, I also discuss, if you go to the browser for a moment, you see I discuss about how to bring the large language model, that is AI, into production and taking it to the masses in this particular video, where I am integrating with PySimple-GUI. This is one of the libraries that is available inside Python. Like this, I discuss about various different applications and different way of libraries. So I believe that you will like this content. Do leave a subscription. With that said, let us go back to the browser. What we are going to do right now is we are going to go to just a moment. We should first of all have the Google Cloud Platform account, and inside the Cloud Platform account, ensure that you have got generative AI trial or whatever project that you want to create the project. This is a project name, so this is something that I have created. You can name it any way you want, and then you need to enable billing for this project. All this process I have already discussed in my earlier videos. Take a look at that. I'll be attaching those videos along with this video also. However, my concentration is not on Google Cloud Platform services. I'm just telling how to integrate the Vertex AI service with Langchain primitive. That is my primary goal. So if you are facing any challenges, do reach out to other videos that discuss about Google Cloud Platform, creating the projects, working with the APIs, working with the billing, etc., etc. Ensure that you have done everything, and then if you come to the side, you can actually go to the AI platform, Vertex AI platform. There are various platforms there. You need to ensure that you have enabled the Vertex AI API. All this has to be done. I have also already discussed these things in other videos. I'm just recapping it for you guys. What we need to do is, once all that is done, we need to go to IAM and admin and then click on service accounts. Once you do that, here is where you will be creating the service account that I'm talking about. And we already see that there is a service account that we are discussing, that I am already using, and this particular service account will be deleted after this particular video, so you don't need to worry about that this particular secret is getting leaked. How to create the service account is the discussion of this current section. Click on create service account, and once you click on it, give a name. So let us say trial 234. Okay, ensure that you don't give any space, etc., and ensure that you give a description. This is a trial 234. I'm just giving an example for you guys. You have to give a description. If you don't give the description, what is happening is the UI is not updating properly. So you will not get this kind of a UI if you don't give the description. So ensure that you give the description, and then once you click on the select role, you have to select Vertex AI Service Agent. So this is first step. You have to select Vertex AI Service Agent, and then another one role you have to select the owner. These two things, these two roles will ensure that the service account that you are creating has sufficient power to connect with the large language models from your local execution environment or your coding environment. This is the key point I wanted to highlight to you guys. Once this is done, you might actually face some problems here also. So you might actually see that you don't have the service agent enabled. You may not get these roles at all. So you might have to understand how to create the role. Please take a look at the various videos that is already available in the internet. This can be done very easily. There is an entire series created by Google Cloud platform video playlist itself in YouTube. You will get to speed in no time. So take a look at that. Once that is done, you have to just say continue and done. So that is what you have to do. I'm not going to do that. Since I've already created, I'm not going to do it. Once you have done that, so after all this, once you have done that, you need to go into the key. So you have to click on the key and then select the keys option. And once you select the keys option, you can download the key. So you can click on add key, and if you create new key, you will get a new JSON key. So this is the key that we need to work with. So you see this JSON. This is what you have to click on create, and you will get a download from that particular window. So this is the process that needs to be done for this single line. So I simply told that Vertex AI security account setup has to be completed. So this is a single line which took almost 7 to 8 minutes to explain. Once this is done, so you will have a JSON file. You need to take the JSON file to your local execution environment or your local hard drive. For this, now we are going to move into the coding step. So this is the setup where we do. This is first point of the setup. Second, from this point, it is all about coding. It's all about working with Langchain. Let us go to the browser again. And the code that I'm going to use is already updated in the GitHub repo. This particular link will be shared with you guys. And you can open this link in your own Jupyter notebook in local environment also, or you can use Google Colab environment too. There is no restrictions. Wherever you use this particular Jupyter notebook, ensure that you copy the JSON file that you downloaded from the Google Cloud platform. So this is the JSON file, and I have kept the JSON file here. So you see this. So this is what I was talking about. And once that is done, after that, the actual important step or the difficult step has been completed. Now comes the easy part, and you'll see how fast we can integrate Vertex AI large language models with Langchain primitives. So we will start that process. In order to do that, we have to install Langchain, Google Cloud AI Platform, and Google Auth. These three libraries are required. And the introduction about all these things is provided inside the Langchain documentation also. So you don't need to worry about it. If you are still unable to understand certain things, take a look at the documentation. You will get a full understanding there also. Once you install this, ensure that you restart the runtime. Come here and restart the runtime. The reason why I'm telling this is, once you go down here and execute this cell, it can actually error out, telling that there is a conflict in the libraries. To avoid that conflict, I am restarting the runtime. If you are using it in your local environment, that error will not arise. Once that is done, import Vertex AI. This is the primitive that I was talking about. This is Langchain class. This is not given from Google. This is Langchain's Vertex AI class primitive. From this class primitive, we are going to create the class instance, and that class instance is what is going to connect with the Google, the Vertex AI service. So this is the overall idea that I want you guys to take home. So once I have this, once I create this particular instance and once I execute it, what will happen is this instance will call Google Auth library, and Google Auth library will look for this particular credential path, Google application credentials path. If this is not set, then this particular line cell will error out. So ensure that your proper environment variable has been set and the path has been provided. Now I have actually given you the basic setup, what you need to do. What I'm going to do next is that I'm going to introduce you how to work with this LLM, the LLM instance that you have created here, how to work with this LLM and integrate that with various Langchain primitives. That is what we are going to see next. Here I am not going to execute each and every cell, that I have already done that. And also one more important point, if you are new to Langchain, this video will be little bit tough for you to follow because I am going to explain a lot of things in a very short time. But all these concepts I have explained in separate videos in my playlist related to Langchain. So I will attach that playlist also. Take a look at that. You will actually find it much more informative. With that said, so this is the basic LLM that you can create inside Langchain. Once you create the LLM, that is instance, what you need to do is you can start asking questions. This particular question I'm asking here is what is LLM in AI? So I'm specifically giving the context also. So once I do that, you see LLM is replying to me and all is good. So my Vertex AI and Langchain has been connected and they are working. Fabulous. Next, what you are going to do is, let us go back to the presentation. So as I was telling, we saw this two-step. We saw how to get the security account set up, and we saw how to connect the Vertex AI LLM and instantiate it in Langchain execution environment. These two steps are done. And also we tested it. So we asked one question to LLM instance and we got the answer also. What we are going to do next is we are going to test out how good the Google Bard or text-bison01 model works with various LLM primitives, various Langchain primitives like LLMchain, Spark SQL agent, Spark DataFrame agent, RetreivalChain, etc. LLMchain. So LLMchain basically is a primitive which connects the prompt templates with the LLM. So this prompt template is a way of creating multiple different prompts based on a single variable. So let me show you that. If you go back to the Google Colab notebook, you will see that I have created a prompt statement here, and at the end of the prompt statement I am talking about a request. So this request variable can be different. It can be given as an input by the user at the time of execution. So this is the prompt template that we create, and this prompt template can be given as an input or as a variable to the LLMchain. So this is the purpose of LLMchain. So it can help you to modify the prompt on the go. That is when you are executing. How to use this? So this particular LLM is the same LLM that we created, that is Vertex AI LLM. So from now on, when I am talking about LLM instance, that is going to be Vertex AI LLM instance only. Keep that in mind. Here in the LLMchain profile, I am asking, okay, write a code to automate YouTube comments extraction. So this is the question. This is the question I am asking, and this will go as a request. So this will be the request that has been provided to this Pythonista expert. So this is what this particular instance is going to do. So let me show you how this works. So let me execute this, and once I execute this LLMchain is going to okay, let me also show you the answer actually. So that will be much more easier for you guys. So you see that it has created the code by using this Python code, because the output of this LLMchain is linked with this Python code variable. How to prove, how to ensure that this particular prompt template has been used. So if you in Langchain, Langchain is kind of a wrapper that is created around the large language models using Python. They have basic kind of class instantiations, and each of these classes you can actually view. You can view the code also. If you come and hover on this particular location, and you will see that you can actually take a look what this particular primitive will do. And also you can go and look at the sources. If you have VS Code, you can take the look at the source of this particular class also. Let me give you a different example. Let us see what we can ask. For an example, I want to ask write a code that creates simple snake game. Okay, so this is another one code that I am asking, and now you see that this particular request has not got any feedback. So you see there is no output at all. So this has not worked, right? This is something that you might actually find in case of text bison. Couple of questions does not get answered. The same thing will not happen if you're going to use with OpenAI. So this is something of a discrepancy that I've been seeing. So you guys have to experiment with this and see what works and what doesn't work. And also bring, if you are facing any challenges, leave a comment out so that everybody else will also know and learn from you. So that is very crucial for this in this stage of this technology. This is one of the examples that I wanted to show you guys. Next is I'm going to start working with the big data environment. So I am seeing how good the text bison, that is Google's model, can disrupt the data engineering field. Okay, so data engineering field should immediately make you to think about Spark. And in case of Python, there is a very good library called as PySpark that wraps around Spark environment. Okay, so I'm not going to go deep into Spark and PySpark related discussion in this video. I have a separate playlist itself where I discuss about setting up the Spark environment, setting up the big data cloud, big data setup, and working with PySpark, etc. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to basically call these primitives. That is, these are all from Langchain. Okay, and I'm going to provide these primitives with the basic CSV file. This is a CSV file that I have taken it from one of the Kaggle competitions, and I'm going to create a simple table inside the Spark table inside the PySpark environment. So this is what this code does. So you don't need to worry about what is the exact things going on. Once you see it, once you execute it, you'll understand. And finally, this is the output of the table that we create. Till this, we are actually writing the code. Now what is going to happen next is we are going to hand over the Spark SQL. We are going to create the Spark SQL. This is a primitive that is from Langchain, and we are going to create this instance and hand it over to the large language model, that is VertexAI large language model, using this primitive Spark SQL toolkit. Once I do this, I can actually create this Spark SQL agent. This agent will have the another large language model. So see, there are two places where the large language models are getting used. So one is in the toolkit and another is in the agent. So both are having different purposes. I am not going to delve deep into the purpose of toolkit, purpose of the agent executor here, but I'm just asking you to concentrate these things, because once you start practicing, you need to keep these things in mind. Once this is having a separate LLM, this is having a separate LLM, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to simply ask that, okay, let me initiate this because I have not executed this. It is going to create an issue. So let me initiate this execution. I'm going to install PySpark, and then I'm going to import all this primitives, and then let me check whether I have the Space Titanic here, or else I have to, yeah, I have the Space Titanic file here. All these files that I'm having in this location is already available inside the GitHub repo. So you can find it out by searching in the GitHub repo. It should not be very difficult. The same repo where you will find this particular code, Jupyter Notebook. Once, so now I can execute this, and this will create this particular table. You have to give it a little bit of a time, and once the table is created, I'm going to create this agent executor, and this is where the fun starts. I'm not asking I'm not writing PySpark commands here. Okay, this particular toolkit is actually a Spark SQL agent. So there are two ways to interact with data inside PySpark. One is Spark SQL and another is Spark DataFrames. And both of these things have different kinds of methods and different kinds of command line interfaces. So first, again, this is a very huge discussion because it's a huge domain in itself. But what is happening? Langchain along with the LLM can query the SQL database as well as Spark SQL database using these agents. This is already created. Now what I'm doing is I'm just asking list the available tables. Let's see what happens. And you see it is listing the table that I created. So the Space Titanic is the table that I created here. So you see this particular table name is the Space Titanic. So this is what I've used here, and that is what is getting shown here. And next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, okay, describe the Space Titanic table. I'm asking all these things in natural language. Okay, now whenever sometime what happens is there could be, so you see the resource exhausted error. So this kind of issue can happen whenever I have been doing a lot of predictions recently. So what has happened is my quota for this particular date has been exceeded. This is what you will get the error. I have been using it from the morning and I have been trying to work out various things. So you see this particular error occurring. It's okay. After some time you will be able to see, please try again later with the back off. If you still experience error, contact Vertex AI. So this kinds of error is what is more interesting. If I don't get the error, then I have not done anything, right? So let us see. I have given a couple of seconds. Let us see whether I can get the answer again. So hopefully I have backed off a bit, so it should be able to connect with the LLM service. Okay. Now it has connected to the LLM service. You see this has connected to the LLM service. It has tried to create the observation here by using the table. And then what had happened is some other kind of an error has occurred. Usually when I started first working, I got a different error here. Once I got to this stage, what was happening is it was unable to proceed. So the large language model was unable to properly describe the Space Titanic table. So initially that was the problem. But anyway, after that it got solved. And then I had created a couple of other questions like what is the most frequent home planet? This was already done. So the most frequent home planet is Earth. This is how the actual execution happens. Anyway, since my quota is exceeded, I am not able to execute it right now. But in your case, you will be able to execute it. And which is the last name is more frequent. So once I execute this, you see that it's saying it doesn't know. Why? Because it does not have this particular, if you go up, this particular table does not have any column called as last name. It has a column name called as name, but it does not have a column name called as last name. So it blindly says it doesn't know. And then I ask, okay, now I understand that there is no column called as last name. So I ask it to split the name column. And then I ask the question, and then it goes back and it does a lot of activity and then says, okay, the last name Sussant is most frequent. Now, this is, one of the key points that I wanted to highlight. Whatever you're seeing here, once you go and try to execute it in your environment, in your data frames and SQL tables, the answer might be different. Okay, why I'm saying this? There are various different variables that come into picture. So let us go back to the top where the LLM is initiated. The LLM, the way I initiated is with temperature 0.1. Okay, you can actually reduce the temperature further down also. You can take it up to 0.01, I suppose. Let me try that. Let me see what happens. This particular temperature decides you can go to 0.01. The more you go to a lower temperature range, the randomness which the model creates will be reduced. It's not that the model the creativity of the model is reduced. No, there is no creativity for the large language models. The large language models internally is a mathematical and a statistical model which works on probability. That doesn't sound pretty interesting, but that is the reality. So once you reduce the temperature to near zero, the model becomes less random. So keep that in mind. And once you change this, then the things will appropriately change. Keep that in mind also. Why I'm introducing this? So here we are working with Spark. This is not a simple data frame. We are working with Spark SQL tables and data frames, and it works flawlessly. And you see the answer is also coming out in the natural language method, natural language accent, right? All this till now we saw was Spark SQL. Now the same thing I tried with Spark data frame. In case of Spark data frame, what was happening is when I was using the same thing with the Vertex AI large language model, the answer was pretty different. These are all the various ways to create the Spark data frame. Spark data frame agent inside the Langchain execution environment. I'm not going to explain it, but what I want you guys to see is the answer that comes out is actually the command that you have to provide. This is not the actual answer that you get it from, like how you got it from Spark SQL agent. So this is something that I found that was a little bit strange for me, the way the output was coming. The reason why this could be happening is because this particular primitive, the create Spark data frame agent, is in development. It is not completely developed. The Langchain open source team is working on various parts of Langchain, and Spark data frame is not fully developed. So don't worry about that. If you today I might actually get such a output, and when you see the video, it might be already 10 or 15 days the time I posted this video, and you might have a completely different output. But the key point is that the way it is getting executed, the way it is prompted will be same. This is something that I want you guys to take home from this discussion. Okay, I'm not going to go deep into Spark data frame agent. The next thing which will be more interesting for you guys will be to get okay. So let me go to the let me go to the Jupyter to the GitHub repo. So GitHub repo also has got all the answers also. So once I store it, it will get all the answers. Once you go down after both Spark data frame and Spark SQL, next thing that I tried was chatting with the PDF. So everywhere nowadays you see a lot of YouTube videos, lot of blogs, lot of discussion around chatting with your documents. Chatting with the documents is one of the very crucial applications that has been opened up by large language models. When you are working, and the most abundant document that is available today is PDF document, and much more abundant document that is available is text, simple text document. This particular text document is what we are going to see here. The vim_play.txt is already available in this repo, so you can get it. Should not be a problem. And I am splitting this document using the recursive character text splitter, which is again a Langchain primitive. I use that, and then I load this split documents into the FICE vector store. When I'm going to load it in the FICE vector store, I need to create an embedding, and for that embedding I'm going to use Hugging Face open source embeddings, and the embedding model that I'm using is all Mini LM L6 V2. Keep this in mind. This is the best model that is available for embedding. So keep that in mind and use that only. And once that is done, I am loading it using this particular format, and I am using the RetreivalQA. So this is what I was talking about when I was discussing this particular presentation, that RetreivalChain, right? So this is what this is the step that I am doing right now here. So just a minute, this is the RetreivalChain that I was talking about. Let me go back to the browser. Here, if you see, I have created the RetreivalQA chain, and I have given the LLM. This is the same Vertex AI LLM that I am creating. I will zoom in a bit so that you guys can see it better. And I am giving the chain type as stuff. There are various other chain types also. You take a look at my other videos, because now Langchain has become really huge. There are lots of things that you can do with Langchain related primitives, and once you know how to integrate the large language models with Langchain, then you have a whole different level of applications that you can build. So try working this out and you'll see interesting things happening. And then I am using db.retriever as retriever method, and I am creating the RetreivalQA chain. And then the fun starts. So now I am starting to chat with the document. So tell me about Vim. So this particular question is a general question. So even if I go and ask, so let us ask the LLM directly. So if I ask the LLM, tell me about Vim, and let us see what is output it provides. You have to compare that way only. Whether your LLM is looking at your document or not, you can compare it only by asking a bare LLM. So this is a bare LLM, meaning I am not attaching any documents to it. That is why I call it as bare LLM. And when I'm asking tell me about Vim, let us see what is output we get. Just give me a moment. Yeah, Vim is a text editor that is popular with programmers. So let us go back here. So you see this output, even though I'm running it inside the chain, so this is the chain.run, I'm running it inside the chain, but still the output I'm getting is from the model only. So that is what I want you guys to understand. But now I am asking, what are the tasks in the Vim playbook? And once I ask this specifically, then I get all the tasks that has been created by me inside the playbook. So if you go to the Vim play.txt, click on that, and you'll see that there are various tasks I create. And these are the various tasks I have created. So I have a playbook where I try to learn and practice the skills that I have. And I create various tasks to practice. This particular notebook, this particular data is what I have provided to the large language model, and I'm asking questions. And this is what you guys are seeing. Here, I am asking where the Vim exercises needs to be done. So Vim exercises needs to be done on the file of your choice. So this is not what I was expecting. So I ask again, is Docker necessary to work on Vim playbook? Exercises best done on Docker created specifically as a playground. So this answer is actually from the Vim playbook. If you go to the Vim underscore play.txt, and if you take a look, see, you see this, the exercise is best done on Docker created specifically as playground. So we can clearly see that the Google text bison model is able to take the natural language question, and it is able to look at the documents and provide the feedback. How many activities are related to splits? So this is totally having no context, right? This has no context related to what I'm asking, but still it will go to the documents that is available and then look at the various tasks that is related to splits. If you go into this particular discussion, into this particular playbook, you will see that I have almost 6 to 7 different tasks related to splitting the windows. So that is what the model is talking about. With that, we have actually come to the end of our discussion. Yeah. So it's almost 35 minutes that we have discussed, and we have seen a lot of information, not just about the Vertex AI LLM, but also various other primitives in Langchain, like LLMchain, Spark SQL agent, and how the Spark SQL agent and DataFrame agent are having different outputs, even though the data that we are providing is same. And with this particular video, you must have understood how these primitives are working. Langchain primitives are working to a certain level, and I hope that I have kindled that curiosity in you to take a deeper view of Langchain primitives. That will actually take you a long way. And not just that. So once you understand Langchain, how it is getting implemented, you can implement your own primitives very easily. In fact, once I started understanding how the LLM, let me go to the browser. So always, whenever a new LLM comes, whenever a new company comes up with the LLM large language model, Langchain will understand how their API structure is, or not Langchain, the Langchain developers will understand how the API structure is, and then they will create a simple interface. So this is actually an interface, a class, Langchain class interface that interfaces with the service provider API and gets the output. It is as simple as that, but the internal code is pretty interesting. So if you guys are curious about that, do visit the Langchain GitHub repo, take a look at the code, see whether we can contribute, because there are lots of things we as a community can contribute to the open source. And I believe that you have got something out of this particular discussion. Do leave a comment to understand how the content was. I'll be really grateful to you guys. And I believe that you will like this particular video. Do leave a like and share it with others. Subscribe to my channel for further updates. And as usual, I would like to close this particular discussion with 4 words. That is practice, 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 practice. See you guys. Have a great time.